It's no wonder crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by any means necessary. They are willing to violate the U.S. Constitution at levels never seen before in order to win this election. Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. It's a threat. They're weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference because we're beating them so badly in the polls.
The Supreme Court of Colorado has made a ruling that Donald Trump cannot run for president in the state's primary election next year. The court cited a constitutional insurrection clause and determined that Mr. Trump is not an eligible candidate because he engaged in an insurrection nearly 3 years ago over the U.S. Capitol riot. This is the first time Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment has been used to disqualify a presidential candidate. Although similar attempts to remove Mr. Trump from the ballot in other states have failed, the Trump campaign has called the decision anti-democratic and will appeal. The ruling is only applicable to the Colorado state primary election, but it could also impact the general election in Colorado next November. The decision has been placed on hold until next month pending an appeal. The justices wrote in their ruling that they are mindful of their duty to apply the law without fear or favor and without being swayed by public opinion. The decision reverses an earlier ruling by Colorado judge that the 14th Amendment's insurrection ban did not apply to the presidents because the section did not specifically mention them. In recent news, a lower court judge found that former President Trump participated in the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol riot. This occurred on January 6, 2021, when Trump supporters stormed Congress while lawmakers were certifying President Joe Biden's election victory. It is important to note that Colorado Supreme Court decision won't go into effect until January 4, 2024. This is the eve of state's deadline to print its presidential primary ballots. Here is what former U.S. President Donald Trump said after the ruling.
It's no wonder crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by any means necessary. They are willing to violate the U.S. Constitution at levels never seen before in order to win this election. Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. It's a threat. They're weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference because we're beating them so badly in the polls.
Here is how the Republicans reacted to the ruling.
They have just tried to bar President Trump from the Colorado ballot using an unconstitutional maneuver that is a bastardization of the 14th Amendment to our U.S. Constitution. This was a provision, Section 3, that was designed to bar Confederate members, people who switched to the Confederacy, from actually being able to serve. That's very different than what's at issue here, to say the least. This is a hollowed out husk of what the country was built on. The basic principle that we, the people, select our leadership, not the unelected elite class in the back of palace halls. That's old world Europe, not the United States. That's why I'm making a pledge today that I will withdraw, I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot unless and until Trump's name is restored. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie and Nikki Haley do the same thing, or else these Republicans are simply complicit in this unconstitutional attack on the way we conduct our constitutional republic. I refuse to be complicit in that. I think what they're doing is wrong, and I think it's up to Republicans to step up and stand up with a spine for our country's future. That's really what's at stake, whether we, the people, actually have a say in deciding who leads this country. Yes, it would be easier for other Republicans like me who are running in this race to say, hey, if Trump is sidelined, there's our opportunity. No doubt other candidates are probably privately celebrating with their corporate sponsors. That's not the right thing to do. I think the most useful thing that every GOP candidate can do right now is to join me in that pledge. I'll say that I will withdraw from that Colorado GOP primary ballot until Trump's name is restored. This belongs to the people, not to the unelected Democratic cabal of judges in Colorado or any other state. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Chris Christie do the same thing, or else they're complicit in what this security state is trying to do to shut down Trump. I stand by that, and I expect them to do the right thing.